Hi, my name is Neil Good. I'm with the Good Law Group, and today I'm going to talk about how to fill out and the importance of Social Security Form 3369, the work history form. So the first thing I want to talk about is, why is this important? If you're 50, it really isn't that important because you have the burden to prove you can't do any job that exists in the national economy. If you're over 50, it has more significance for two reasons. The first reason is they look at the exertional requirements of your job, which are sitting, standing, lifting, carrying, pushing, pulling, and they also look at the skill level. And they have three skill levels: unskilled, semi-skilled, and skilled. And so those factors are what they use to determine whether you can do any past jobs. So the Social Security disability system is set up with a 5-part sequential evaluation, and part 4 of that evaluation is, can you do your past work? So this sets that up. And then part 5 is, can you do any other work? And this also assists the judge in determining if you can do any other work. But again, if you're under 50, it doesn't really make a difference because you have to prove you can't do any job that exists in the national economy. I'm going to try and go through the different parts of it and why they're important, and hopefully assist you in filling them out. So if you look at the document where it starts on page 1, it gives you the job title, the type of business, the from date, and the to date. And so you don't need the exact dates. The months and the year are okay. And the job title and the type of business are somewhat important, but sometimes there are job titles that people have that don't really represent the job. And it's important that you get the right job title. And one of the reasons that I try and convince people to get a lawyer beforehand is so we can kind of assist them in doing that and giving the right job title. And I'll give you an example of a mistake people make that makes the case very complicated. So I've had clients who are maintenance men in buildings, and they put down that they're a building engineer. Okay, to Social Security, a building engineer is somebody with an engineering degree that sits at a desk all day. Okay, and if you write down building engineer, they're going to presume that you're sitting at a desk all day. So if you say that you're a maintenance man, then they assume that's a medium job, or a job where you do a lot of lifting, carrying, walking, pushing, pulling, standing, fixing things. Okay, so the other thing that you should know is they want to go back 15 years. Okay, and they go back 15 years basically from the day of your application, and then when you get to court, from the day of hearing. So doesn't matter if you fill the jobs out in reverse order or chronological order. So you fill out each of those sections, and then when you go to the next part, which is the next page, it's numbered page 2. So at the top of the page, it says job title number 1. So what I try and have my clients do is actually make that match what they wrote on the first page. Then they want rate of pay by hours, month, days, whatever it is. And then they want to know how many hours per week. Then it says, describe this job. So what do you do all day? Okay, I try and tell my clients, this isn't supposed to be a 2-paragraph thing. It's a few sentences. So, I go to work. If I'm a maintenance man, I work around the building all day. I have to repair light bulbs, replace light bulbs. I have to repair this machine or that machine. And then I want them to kind of move on to, whether they use machines, whether they use equipment, whether they have special knowledge, whether they complete reports. And so, I just have them just check off what they need to, what they use in their job. The next part is really the most important to me, and that is when you tell them how many hours you do things like sitting, standing, walking, pushing, pulling, lifting, carrying, reaching, writing. Okay, and so a lot of clients put down things that aren't really accurate because they don't really understand that Social Security is looking for the total number of hours in a day. So, for example, some people make it so that they end up working it looks like they work a 20-hour day. Okay, so it should total, the sitting, standing, and walking part should really total about 8 hours. The rest of it is going to be stuff that you do during the day. For example, kneeling, crouching, crawling, and using your hands. So how much of the day do you use your hands? Well, I mean, if you're a sitting job, you pretty much use your hands all day. The next part of it is lifting and carrying. So they want examples of what you lift and carry. And the biggest mistake I think most of my clients make when they fill this out is they don't really realize how much they actually lift at their job or what is part of their job. So I'll give you just a couple of examples. So for example, if you work at a desk, you still have to carry files and you still have to be able to move your chair. So you can't say you lift nothing. I mean, if your back is so bad that you can't even move a chair, then you need to put down the information about what you lift at your job. The other thing that I see people make mistakes a lot is people who travel. Well, if you travel, carrying a suitcase, carrying a briefcase, those things are important and they weigh more than 10 pounds usually. Then it asks what the heaviest thing you lift is. And it also asks, things you lift like less frequently. The heaviest thing might be something you lift once per day. And then things you lift frequently are things you might have to lift more than once a day. So, but let's say you're a clerk in an office or you sit at a desk all day. But part of your job is bringing in the water bottles for the office. Well, that's part of your job. So you have to put that down. And a case of water bottles probably weighs 20, 25 pounds. So just because you do it once, even if you do it once a month, if it's part of your job, it's required. Okay, then the next part is about supervision. Unless you're really in a supervisory role, then you shouldn't say that you supervise people. I hope I've helped you understand some of the importances of filling out this form and how to fill it out better. But basically, most people underestimate the amount of weight that they lift at their jobs. And they also underestimate the amount of time they spend standing. So I hope this was helpful. We're going to include the form that I'm talking about below. And if you have any questions, you can contact us at the information below. Thank you.